Hi, and welcome. Episode 4 of Drive Time here. Through the Lion's Gate. Here we go. I've been doing a lot of thinking about the heroic enterprise, and specifically about Theseus as a hero. And I want to zoom in on one particular episode. The episode of Theseus's test. Test of lifting the rock, right? Now, Apollodorus tells us that the rock was called, the strength of Zeus. It was called the strength of Zeus. It was an altar. And Aegis placed the sword and the sandals underneath that rock, right? And I've always been struck by this. These sort of sword and rock rituals are part of, Bronze Age nobility rituals. You see Odin and Arthur, Sigurd, other characters in mythology have this association, right? This connection with a rock and with a sword. And Theseus has it too. So here we have the divine son, right? The demigod son of Poseidon and Aegis of Athens, right? Born of Aethra, a daughter of Pythias of Trusian. And Pythias is a smart guy. I've been struck by a number of things. One was that Pythias is, of course, was sought out by Aegis to help him interpret his Delphic oracle. And we know how that worked out. It led to, the creation of the pregnancy of Aethra and then ultimately the birth of Theseus. But Pythias had kept spreading the rumor that Aethra was impregnated by Poseidon, and that's exactly opposite of the type of logic that usually suppresses these pregnancies. Look at Semele of Thebes, for example. She would go around and say Zeus was the father, and then look what happened to her, right? But Pythias does it the other way around, and that's informative of Pythias's logic and his smarts, because Aegis couldn't be seen as having another son because of the situation back in Athens with the 50 sons of Pallas, right? And they would have actively hunted him down and tried to kill him. In fact, Aegis said to Aethra if it was a boy, spare it, raise it in secret, right? Which makes me always think about if it was a girl, does that mean that she would have had him killed or would have been forced to expose the child? If that was the logic, considering these divine sons and twinning and all this. But anyways, Theseus wasn't a twin, so we can't go down that road. But back to the metaphor of the rock, right? He's raised, and he comes a certain time, and Aethra brings him out, and there's the test of his identity, and also the test of strength. And she says, lift that rock. And if he can lift that rock, right, he gets what's underneath, obviously. So he does it. He lifts it up. He's a demigod. He has immortal strength. And underneath he sees the sword and the sandals. And that's great. It communicates to the hero what he needs to do. The sword is the weapon of the hero. Right here we are in this nobility ritual that links, a father to a hero to a god. And that's something that goes across all of these rituals. And of course, it's a weapon, right? It's a way for him to exact justice and be heroic, and a powerful ithyphallic symbol, of course, right? But then also the sandals, right? And Trusian is across the bay from Athens, so the sandals send another message, right? Are you smart enough? Put them on and walk. It's easy just to get in a boat and go to Athens. But Theseus gets the challenge. Theseus has it in his mind, right? He moves into the heroic enterprise. He makes the heroic decision, and he gets the coded information. Aegis, right, tells him, put on the sword, right? The sword of Kekrops, and put on the sandals, right? And walk to Athens. And you know how that works. It becomes his greatest challenge, right? His quests, his labors. So here we are, right? Inside the mythic. And I'm thinking how beautiful of how beautiful a metaphor that rock works to communicate these ideas of the heroic enterprise. Literally an enterprise, a picking up, right? And I've been thinking about expanding and working into the idea of Joseph Campbell's monomyth and making something more poignant for our times, something that works beyond the patriarchy and its limitations, and something that embraces not only the ethos of death that we know so well, but also the ethos of life, a heroic system that allows for both men and women to be conceptualized in the heroic enterprise as heroes. Decision, right? And the picking up, the enterprise. Anyways, there's some thoughts, some things that are running through my mind. Those things will probably make their way into a blog post eventually on MythTake.org. This has been episode 4 of Drive Time. See you again. Thanks for coming back through the Lion's Gate.